So the third step in making the guitar will be the sides. So I have 2 planks. They're the right thickness at this moment. Now we are going to make one straight edge at the side of the planks. So this will be the side where the top will fit. We can make this straight because the top, the plate itself has a slight curve, but the side is straight at the top. The underside of the guitar will have a curve also. Will go from the back will be 10 centimeters, I guess. Must look at the plans. And at the front of the guitar, where the neck will fit, it's only 8 centimeters. So something like that. So this will have a curve on the sides also. When the sides have one straight edge, we can continue with the bending of the guitar. Something to look after for the when making the straight edge is, I don't know if it's very visible, but you need to look after the 2 planks that the figure on the sides will match each other. For bending the wood, we need this one. It's called a bending iron. I prefer clamping it on this side of the workbench, so I have easy access on as many sides as possible. Before we start bending, we need to know where the curves will come on the side. So we take a piece of masking tape, put it on the inside of the mold, and then we can draw some lines where the curves are, and then we can stick the tape onto the wood. So the next step will be bending of the planks, the side. So this is where the magic happens, when this becomes this. The planks will get the curve of the guitar sides. For this process we are going to use a bending iron, and we are going to take some water, make the wood wet, so the water will spread the heat from the bending iron into the wood, and because of the heat the wood will bend. So for the bending, we press the wood, make the wood wet, then we press the wood gentle against the bending iron and let the wood heat up. Try to keep the wood as straight as possible, because otherwise the curves will not be straight. And once the wood is hot enough, it will start bending. Just take it easy. So we bended the 2 sides. What we're now going to do is make 2 pieces of wood to hold the 2 sides together. So this piece should fit here at the top where the neck will fit in. This one will fit here, so the jack of your guitar will fit into this piece of wood. You see, this guitar has a curve over here. So first we are going to give this piece of wood the same curve as the guitar. Over here the guitar has also a little curve, but that's not necessary, because when we will join the neck, this piece should be straight. So this piece of wood is straight. We are going to use this one, so it will not have the curve like the guitar. So the 2 sides are glued to 2 blocks of wood. and they form now the outside of the guitar. So at both sides, the sides are too high. So what we're now going to do is trim the sides so it comes lower. Before we can do that, we need to draw on the sides a line with the exact height of the sides. I already draw the line. Maybe you can see it. It's this line. But most important thing is to know exactly how high the sides will be. For that you go on to the plan. You can see over here at the end of the guitar it's 115, it's 11.5 centimeters, and where the neck will join it's 10 centimeters. Of course the back has a curve. We took a curve of 6 millimeter, so on a half a meter the center is 6 millimeter above the two edges. So it gives a very complicated drawing. So what you first need to do is draw a circle. It starts on one side of the guitar and ends at the other side. So the middle should be over here somewhere. You draw the whole circle. You can see it over here. The next step is to divide the sides of the guitar into little pieces. I took pieces of 2 centimeters. You can also take pieces of 3 or 4. The smaller the pieces, the more accurate your drawing will be. Then the next step is draw some lines perpendicular to the center line, and they're crossing the points you divided the sides in. And then you draw a second line. It crosses the first line at the sides of the circle, where it crosses the circle on both sides of the guitar, and then you draw a little piece just till the place where it touches the drawing of the guitar. Then you measure the space between the two lines. That's very important. So then you make another drawing. I did it on the back side of the plan, but you can take another piece of paper, of course. Yeah, then you are going to draw the side of the guitar. So this is the place, the end of the guitar, and this is the place where the neck will join. Of course you draw it on a straight paper, but in real life the sides go that way. Here the side is 115, here 100, and you draw a straight line between the both points. At the bottom you mark all the places where you measured the height of the guitar, and you draw lines between the two sides, the bottom and the top. Now you can see this is the curve, the side of the guitar when it should be straight. So no no curves, and no curves in the sides and no curve in the back. Now you can see at every point where there is a difference between the side of the guitar and the second line you made. You measured the spaces between, and then you can add them by the straight line. So you can see over here there's a little difference, always a little difference. At the end, both ends of the sides, the differences are very, very little, so we don't calculate them. You see here it's a little bit more. Here should be the waist of the guitar. The difference is biggest over there. So once you have all the points, you can measure them, and when you got the numbers, you can draw the line on the guitar. So for that, we also divide the guitar into the same pieces of 2 centimeters, and then we make markings, and you can draw one line crossing all the markings. When you got a line, you can take a chisel, some prefer a plane, and you can trim the sides till they're at the same height as the line. This will be still too much, because we measured the thickness of the sides, including the top and the back plate. So of course, when we take, at this moment we make it that high, top and the back plate will add another 5 millimeter. It's not that problem, of course, but when you make a guitar as on a plan, it's best to take notice of that. So for the next step, I made some curvelings, just pieces of wood, small pieces of wood, and they'll come along the inside of the guitar, and they're needed to make a bigger gluing surface between the sides and the top and the back plate. You see, I made 4, 2 for the back plate, 2 for the top plate. These one are damaged, but that's not a big problem. They're somewhat too big lengthwise, and you can glue them together like this on the guitar. It won't have any negative effect on the strength. So what we need for gluing, of course, is 1 curveling and some cloth packs there to keep the pressure on when gluing the curveling. We're going to put them like this on the curveling. For this, it's very important to make a dry check, because when the curveling isn't flexible enough, you will need to bend it on the bending iron. As you can see, I made the cuts on both sides of the curveling. This will make them more flexible, but they have a little reduced strength. It's not a problem, but when you have a high curve or a big difference between the height of the guitar at the back and at the neck, you will need more flexible curvelings. So first, a dry check. So this is the dry check without bending on the bending iron. We can glue this curveling to the side. So this piece, I broke it off because it was a little bit too wide, too long. So maybe I should have had one piece extra over here. It's not a problem. We are going yeah, to glue this a little bit closer to the block of wood. When the glue is when we're gluing, of course we will use many more of the cloth packs. Over here it's important to remember the block is too high. Even the line we draw was a bit too high, so it's not a problem if the curving sits a little bit under the side, just a little bit. It's to make a bigger gluing surface for the top plate, so when this is too low it won't touch the plate. You don't want that, of course. So this is how it looked like when it's glued. So you see all the cloth packs just one next to the other. I guess I have 55, something like that, cloth packs for this guitar, total amount. So you can see, I guess I used 40 cloth packs, something like that. When you have more, of course you can glue two curvings at the same time. So you see, I finished all the curving. That's one special thing. Curving just comes to here. And what we've added here is a tiny little plate. That's because of the Nick Benjamin cutaway I'm going to make. So this piece will be removed when the whole body is finished, so we don't need the curving here. If we've added an extra piece of the side of a guitar to get some extra gluing surface for the cutaway. It's the same reason why we did the extra plate on the top of the guitar. So that's it concerning the sides. The next video will be about closing the body. So we're going to glue the top and the back plate and the sides together.